PepsiCo's earnings reports, they're like looking into a crystal ball, you know?
Hmm.
They give us a glimpse into not just how the company is doing, but also a bit about our snacking habits, maybe even how the economy is doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they just released their numbers for Q3 2024.
Okay.
So we're going to break all that down today. We're doing a deep dive into this. There's slowing growth to unpack, some surprises internationally, and just like big changes the snack and beverage giant is making. You might
Hmm.
be wondering how all this affects you.
Right.
And you know what? You should. Whether you're like a diehard Pepsi fan, or maybe you're, I don't know, an investor, just curious,
Mm.
or even if you just like find this business stuff interesting. This deep dive will give you a new way to think about the choices we make, about like what we're putting in our shopping carts, the forces at work behind what we consume.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the big news, right off the bat. Organic revenue growth slowed down this quarter, only 1.3%. This time last year, they were popping champagne at 8.8% growth. So what's the deal? Is the party over for PepsiCo?
I wouldn't say the party's over, but things are definitely more subdued now. Part of this slowdown is the economy, right?
Yeah.
Inflation is still biting, interest rates are up, and that makes everyone, think twice about spending, especially on those fun but not essential things, like snacks.
Yeah, true. Can't argue with that. And it didn't help that they had that whole Quaker Oats recall thing on top of everything else.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely threw a wrench in things.
Yeah.
But, and this is interesting, even with the slowdown, Frito-Lay, the snacks division.
Right, the chips and all that.
Exactly. They actually saw their volume trends get better over the quarter.
Hold on, so people are cutting back, but they're still buying more chips. How does that work?
It seems Frito-Lay really understood what was coming. They've been putting out these value options, different sizes, maybe tweaking the price a little, that kind of thing.
So they were ready for people to get more careful about what they spend.
Exactly. And they leaned into those big classic brands,
Right.
especially Lay's. Those did really well.
Lay's makes sense. Classic comfort food. When times are tough, sometimes you just want something familiar.
You got it. And this gets to something bigger PepsiCo's doing. They're really making a point to push those brands, those products that really appeal to shoppers on a budget.
So even though they're this huge company, they still have to pay attention to what people are actually buying.
Oh, absolutely. Their success depends on understanding every little choice we make every time we're, standing in the snack aisle.
Okay, that makes sense. But they're not just about chips, right? What about their drinks? I saw that their North American beverage business, not bad actually, they even managed to make their operating margin bigger. That's good, yeah.
Definitely win.
Mhm.
Now, for anyone who's not, deep in the financial weeds,
Right.
operating margin basically tells you how much profit they make for every dollar of sales after you factor in all those costs, like making the product and advertising.
Okay.
So a higher margin means they're making more money from each dollar they bring in.
So that's got to be good news for them. So how'd they swing that? Are people just like chugging soda like it's going out of style?
Not quite, no. PepsiCo Beverages North America, they've been all about getting more profitable. Two big things they're doing, actually.
Okay, lay it on me.
So first, they're cutting costs wherever they can, getting real efficient. Second, they're really zeroing in on those products, the drinks, that have a higher profit margin already.
So they're being smart with what they spend and smart about what they're selling.
Exactly. Their earnings report even said, and I quote, de-emphasizing certain low-margin product and package combinations.
Okay, translation, please.
They're basically saying goodbye to some of the stuff that just wasn't making them enough money, Got to boost that bottom line.
It's kind of wild, though, how these decisions happening in some boardroom somewhere end up changing what we even see on the shelves at the store, Changes what we can buy.
It really shows how connected everything is, the way companies think, what we want as shoppers, the whole thing. But it wasn't all about, cutting things out. They had some winners, too. Gatorade, for one, did really well. And Pepsi Zero Sugar, also strong.
Which tracks, right. People want to be healthy, or at least they think they want to be healthy, even if they're also trying to save a buck.
For sure, for sure. And PepsiCo's on top of that. They even grew in what they call, this is a mouthful, hydration and functional brands.
Like what?
Think Propel, Bubbly, that sort of thing. Those tap into that whole, I want something that's good for me but tastes good too vibe.
It's a good reminder that what people want is always changing, even when the economy's being wonky. But let's zoom out for a sec. Internationally, same deal. Growth has slowed down,
Yeah.
but it's actually doing better than North America. How are they managing that?
PepsiCo's secret sauce, internationally at least, is knowing their audience. They tailor their stuff to local tastes really effectively.
Oh, interesting.
Like, they're seeing huge growth in places like India, Egypt, Vietnam, places where they've really adjusted what they're offering to fit with what people actually want.
So not one size fits all.
Yep. And it's working for them big time, especially now with the global economy being, well, a little unpredictable. Understanding different cultures, how their economies work, it's a big advantage. Lets them adjust to whatever's thrown at them, whether it's different tastes or just how much money people have to spend.
It's a good reminder that the world's a big, diverse place. What people snack on, what they want to drink, it's all different. Speaking of unpredictable, got to talk about the future. PepsiCo adjusted their outlook for the rest of the year, not expecting as much growth overall, but they're still confident they'll hit their profit targets. How are they so sure?
Their whole plan is built around this thing they call their productivity agenda. Sounds boring, but it's actually kind of huge. It's all about doing more with less, being super efficient, every part of the business, basically. And they're being picky about where that marketing money goes.
Smart move.
They're laser focused on the brands and products that are already doing the heavy lifting, the ones that are already popular that people are buying.
So work smarter, not harder. Make every dollar count.
Exactly. This whole shift they're making, it's all about being super cost conscious, really focusing on those profits. And that's something to watch, honestly. It could change the entire industry.
It's like they're playing this, I don't know, high-stakes game of chess or something, but instead of moving pieces around, they're moving money around, shifting products.
Yeah, yeah. And what's really interesting is it's not just about reacting to the economy as it is now. They're thinking ahead, trying to figure out what people are going to want next.
It really gets you thinking about, like, every time we buy something.
Totally. Every time you pick a certain soda, grab a certain bag of chips, you're sending these companies a message, telling them what you care about, what you'll spend money on.
It's like voting, almost, but with your dollars instead.
100%. And those little votes, they add up. When you've got millions of people making choices, that's how companies decide what to make, what to charge, you name it.
It's kind of empowering, actually. Even though we might feel like just one person in a sea of shoppers, our choices, they do make a difference.
Absolutely.
Right.
And what we're seeing with PepsiCo, even these giant companies, they're paying attention.
So as we wrap up our deep dive here into PepsiCo's quarter, something to think about. The economy, it's still a little shaky, right? What does that mean for your snack choices? What trade-offs are you willing to make?
Right. Will you be bargain hunting, looking for those deals? Or maybe those premium, healthier options, you're sticking with those no matter what. It's a tasty thing to ponder, that's for sure. It's all connected, what we want, what's happening in the world, and how these companies, these food and drink giants, how they respond.
Lots to chew on, literally.
Yeah.
Until next time, everybody, happy snacking.